impactful weather. What are we dealing with right now? Strong winds, if you can't tell. You can't hear them outside and blowing everything around. We've had some very strong winds as well. And the problem is that's causing at least a few power outages so far. So sporadic power outages will be possible with some of the stronger gusts. We see gusts probably a 30 to 40 mile an hour range, but onwards and upwards up to maybe 50 at the maximum. So that's kind of what we're tracking. That is the radar. Obviously, not a lot going on right now. Now, we'll talk about something that we could see appear as we go into the day tomorrow. But let's talk about what we've got going on. The high winds, the cold, that's really going to run through this evening. Again, gusts potentially up to 50 miles an hour and some of the strongest gusts. You want to be prepared for power outages, so don't let your phone go living on 20% as you go through the rest of the day. Make sure you charge it, make sure it's all ready to go. So in case you do lose power, you at least still have your phone until power is restored. Highs will be in the low 30s as well today, so obviously not very warm outside. The other thing, of course, we would love to take your pictures on windy pictures or video or questions that you may have on this windy day. 336-379-5775, 336-379-5775. So you see that number on there. You can take a picture. That'll tell you at least the possibility for if you have any damage or any pictures you want to send or you have any questions about the wind, we'd be happy to get to those. Even if I don't get to them now, we'll be doing updates here on the hour, every hour all the way up through our streaming 6 o'clock today. And so that'll be a good way for you to kind of get in contact with us and see what's going on as well. So that is that number. And again, we're expected to see these wind gusts continue to remain quite stout as we go through the afternoon. You can see these wind gusts here at the Futurecast showing gusts up to the mid-20s to upper 20s. So those are some pretty strong wind gusts starting to back off maybe a little bit. And that'll be a trend I think we continue to see as we go through the later evening hours, eventually seeing these winds relax a bit. This is the leading edge of another air mass, and so, of course, to get those cold temperatures in that air mass in here, we get to push it in, and we use that using the wind. So that's why we're seeing such strong winds today, is because we're getting another air mass, another cold air mass to come into town. And so maybe by the evening hours, still keeping gusts well into the 20 mile an hour range. Now that'll be cold because temperatures are, of course, also going to be dropping at the same time. So here's a look at some of the current observations across the area. And if those will load, there you go. So we're in the mid-30s right now, lower 30s. Look at Winston-Salem, 33, 34 in Wilkes County, 35, I should say, in Asheboro to our south. So we've got those low to mid-30s, even some upper 30s. Look at Davidson County, 37. That's definitely going to continue to help with snow melt across the region as well. And again, the concern is we will continue to see these temperatures drop as we go through the next couple of hours. So that's kind of the actual temperatures, but look here as we go into our Sunday, we're following temperatures into the teens and 20s again. So a very, very cold one for us. And with that wind, as strong as it is, that drops those wind chills into the 20s for us. You can see in many locations it feels not just like 20s, but also single digits up into the mountains. Look at some of those western North Carolina readings. We're definitely seeing some of those stronger winds coming through the Carolinas and the mountains, and so as a result, we continue to see the colder temperatures moving in. And so what do we have right now as far as the current gusts? Well, here you go. There's some of the readings. I just popped myself up over that. But you can see Hickory there, 23. But, of course, we're focused here on the triad. This is what we're dealing with right now. Wind gusts well into the 20, 30 mile an hour range. Now, you could get some stronger gusts than that. But it seems like the winds are backing off just a little bit because we definitely had some very, very strong winds earlier across the triad. So these are some of the high wind gusts today. We've had gusts well into the 40 mile an hour range. 50 mile an hour range up into the mountains. Thankfully not seeing any 50s here across the triad, but nonetheless, when you're talking 46 mile an hour wind gusts, oh, I lied. There's Burlington showing me off, right? Showing me wrong. 51 miles an hour as far as the actual wind gusts go. So very, very strong winds. And this is bringing down trees, and those trees are falling into power lines, and that's causing at least some issues as far as power outages are concerned. Now, this is very, it's not widespread. It's scattered power outages. It's depending on if you do see something strong wind-wise. Right now, the winter radar is quiet. However, in the next 24 hours or so, we actually could see another dose of snow, and models have been kind of consistent on this trend. Now, if anything, it'll be flurries or just very, very light snow, because we have a lot of dry air at the surface. Remember, I showed you those temperatures getting into the 20s, and the teens as we go through the overnight. So that's going to be some pretty dry air. Here comes that system as we go in through our Sunday morning. You see it showing up here very briefly. I mean, that was it looks like. Yeah, if I can find it. There you go. That's a little burst that we're watching here into the mid-morning hours, into the early morning hours. Some models have it a little fuller. It's not a widespread snow by any means, but it's something, you definitely want to still be aware of, and we want to let you know is going to be there, so that, if you're getting out of services tomorrow, if you go to services, or if you're just doing shopping or lunch, you could see some flakes flying through the air. We don't want you to be surprised. So, yeah, you could see some flakes. No, we're not talking, big, huge impacts from this system. As far as the setup, we're basically stuck between that low offshore and a very strong area of high pressure coming in. And when you have a big difference in pressure, that's what creates the big difference in wind, and that's where you get the strong, strong winds to go from, from high to low. So it is going to be a cold one through the afternoon, evening hours today, and then you're going to see that high build in as we go into our Sunday. So the wind is actually going to relax. It'll still be a cold day tomorrow, but nonetheless, the wind's actually going to relax a little bit, and that'll be the good news going into our Sunday. And behind that, just the high pressure building in. It's going to be cold briefly here, but look at the warm air. I'm covering it up. There it is, right there. And so you can see the warmer air. Look at the 60s, upper 60s across parts of Oklahoma into Texas as well. And getting some very nice mild air return on the other side of that high. The pattern that has been locked in for the longest time upstairs in the atmosphere is finally going to break down a little bit. And that'll allow some warmth to head our way. So let me see if I can show you the upper levels here. See if I can find it. Well, let's see. Show you the jet stream winds, because that really explains our pattern. Although here is the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. What does that show? Warmth, right? So look at February 13th to the 17th for us. We're about equal chances, about average. So average for this time of year is in the low 50s, 51. And so a little cooler maybe towards the coast. But for us, about the 50s, which is still a nice warm-up comparatively to where we have been. And then you can see there, as far as the warmer temperatures, they're there. They're just back off to our west, kind of concentrated across the midsection of the country. But that'll allow our temperatures to start to come up as well. So let me show you what it's going to feel like as we go through the evening, as we continue to keep maybe 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So that's 1 a.m. on Sunday. You can see temperatures falling into the single digits. So nothing super dangerous.